We've made several sailing trips to Mexico, with the Baja Jaja to Cabo, and then north up the Sea of Cortez. And without sailing our boat Indigo down from the Pacific Northwest, we wanted to do another trip to explore more of these amazing cruising grounds. Join us as we sail a one-week bareboat charter out of La Paz, Baja California, Mexico. We are leaving Marina Costa Baja. It is Monday morning, about 9:30. We overnighted on the boat last night after checking in about 5 o'clock last night. And now we are headed out to Isla Espiritu Santo. This is quite an interesting marina. It's very protected in here, but there's a long, very narrow channel to get back into this little protected part. It's the northernmost marina of the main ones here in La Paz.
We're on a Beneteau 41.1, similar to our boat, obviously larger, but the interior is familiar, as is the navigation and lines and all of that. So it hasn't been a huge learning curve on this boat.
It is about 22 nautical miles up to the island here. It's supposed to take us about 3.5 hours. We have light winds, and so we don't have the sails up, at least for this first passage. But we're headed over to one of the anchorages on the west side of Espiritu Santo. There's about 6 different bays there, and we're gonna check them all out. Our eye is probably on Candelero. There's a reef in the middle of it there, and we might go snorkeling at that reef. Also, there's a trail that we were thinking about doing. We're only gonna spend one night here. We're gonna see what we can see, and then it's going to be moving on further north. It's pretty shallow in here, so we're gonna have to watch our depth and pull up the motor when we get so far in.
Ooh.
Oh, is it like a parrotfish?
Yeah, look at those teeth.
There you go. Today we're leaving Isla Espiritu Santo, and we're sailing about 22 nautical miles north up to Isla San Francisco. We've got about 13 to 16 knots of wind to start out the day, so we've got the sails up, nice downwind sail, almost the perfect angle to get up there to Isla San Francisco. We're going for a hike along the ridge here on the island, and we're just headed over to shore. We actually met up with some other YouTube people. We're gonna meet up with them. I don't know if they'll do the hike with us or not, but we'll see them in a minute.
What do you think? The hike up here is pretty steep. There's quite a bit of elevation climb. And then you get to the top and you have to climb over some rocks and boulders to continue on the trail. You're going along the ridge of the mountain here, and it is well marked, except when you get to rocks, you have to kind of climb over rocks to continue on the trail. On each side is about 1,000-foot drop off, so just be careful where you step. There are some loose rocks around, but actually, I think anyone could do it if they put their mind to it.
We made it up to the ridge trail, and now, after being a little winded, we're gonna head up to the peak and look for the book.
Actually, there are several books going back, I don't know, 5+ years of people have signed their names, and it's kind of fun to see all the people that have been up here before.
Looking for the ones in English. Okay.
All right. And then we ran into our boat neighbors who we met last night and spent some time hanging out with them, getting to know them. That was really fun. So now we're heading down and it's back to the boat. So we're going to continue on the ridge and take another trail down.
This morning we are leaving Isla San Francisco and headed over to Amortajada. There's an anchorage there, but it's also a mangrove area, and it's supposed to have a lot of wildlife. It's also very difficult to get in there. You have to do it at high tide. And right now it looks like we might even be there at a minus tide. On our way there, we are passing by Isla Coyote, which is a little fishing village on almost just a rock out here. Most of these islands in the Sea of Cortez are uninhabited, but this little one has been for quite a long time, with several fishing families. Supposedly you can anchor just outside of the village, dinghy in, and they'll sell you fish. But we are planning on buying some fish when we get over to San Evaristo by midday. But now, we'd see if it was possible to get the dinghy into Amortajada while we're here.
Bahia Amortajada is part of the islands and protected areas of the Gulf of California, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The heritage site comprises 244 islands and coast areas in the Sea of Cortez, including here at Isla San Jose and the islands of San Francisco, Perdida, and Espiritu Santo. The mangrove-ringed lagoon here is known to be full of turtles, seabirds, and fish, and is a popular destination for kayaking and tour boats. The place is also known for jejenes, also called no-see-ums. It's recommended not to anchor here overnight, as that's when the jejenes come out in droves. Midday is the safest time to visit, and it looks like today it's just too shallow for us to go in. We arrived in San Evaristo, put the anchor down, and dinghy to shore.
And as it turns out, our friends Heather and Chris from Gypsy Explorer were anchored right next to us. We went to shore and we looked for the little restaurant, Lupe and Maggie May's restaurant.
So they were out of a lot of items on the menu, including shrimp and the mixer for the margaritas. But no problem, we had cervezas and fish tacos.
Fresh tortillas.
Delicioso.
And then, as it turns out, Heather and Chris showed up at the restaurant right about that time. Our plan was to go look for the little tienda in town, which was their plan as well. So one of the first things on our list, though, was we wanted to see if we could buy a fish.
Along the way, there were some fishermen coming in, and we were asking around if anyone had some fish for sale. Our first stop was some fishmongers who actually had caught a ton of baby stingrays and they were filleting them up. I guess they pickled them and they put them on salad and whatnot. Didn't look very appetizing to us.
It took a little bit of asking a few people. A few people didn't have fish to start with, but then we found one guy, a kid who went to go ask his dad if they could sell us a fish. And we had a little translation issue as to what kind of fish we wanted to buy or what they had until he finally said Dorado. Wow. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to take that back to the boat. See? Oh.
Hi. Have you get a picture? Because I did
Yes.
help. I did help, and I want my Spanish professor.
This is our fish for 200 pesos.
The fisherman that caught the fish wasn't quite prepared to fillet it for us, so we walked back to the stingray fishermen and they offered to fillet it for us, which was a blessing.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Entiendo más de que hablar.
After we got the fish all filleted up, packed up, we went searching for the little tienda. And after a few wrong turns and asking for directions again, we finally found the tienda, picked up a few supplies, got some more fresh tortillas, and here we are back at the boat.
We shared the fish with our friends, all for 200 pesos, which is about 10 bucks.
We needed to be back in La Paz in 2 days, so it was time to sail south. And due to some big winds forecast to arrive overnight, we headed for Isla Partida, the island just north of Espiritu Santo, to a well-known anchorage called Ensenada Grande.
The southern lobe of Ensenada is the most protected, so we dropped anchor in Ensenada 3 and had just enough time the next morning for a quick look around in the dinghy.
A couple little sandy beaches in here, and we've got bees on the boat, so we figured we'd just kind of escape the bees for a little while.
Oh, there's a bee.
I'm pretty sure there's treasure in there.
There's treasure in that cave. Yeah.
Was that coral in there?
Yeah.
Is that a big fish?
Where?
Right there.
Oh.
Looks like an eel or something.
Right. We just dinghied over to shore after looking at some of the cool caves, and we're going to just take a look around. There's some mangroves over there, and hopefully not run into too many more bees. Hopefully when we get back they'll be gone, but otherwise we're going to take off after this.
The trail from Ensenada 3 runs across the island about a mile to the Sea of Cortez on the other side.
Reminds me of Arizona.
But with limited time, we couldn't stay that long. it was time to make it back to La Paz.
What do you think?
Almost there.
But before returning the boat to Costa Baja Marina, we still had one last beach bar to visit.
The only problem, the bay was too shallow to dinghy to shore and too heavy to carry.
As far as we can go.
Right. So we got it around a rock. Can I take your order, ma'am?
Because Mexico was made for margaritas, sailboats, and sunsets. And that's why we came back again and chartered a boat for ourselves out of La Paz.
To catch all our adventures, click to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at SailingSV Indigo.